Barry Eugene Wilmore, Captain, Navy. Came back from that, somewhat of a unique story. Hadn't been back a couple of months, took some leave finally, and went home and my mom and dad built a pool after I left the house. So I'm sitting next to my pool with two high school buddies, and they're like going, "What's going on with this Hussein guy? I mean, will you have to be involved if anything happens?" And I'm like, there's no chance of me doing anything because the USS Forrestal, my ship was getting retrofitted or getting changed out so it could handle Hornets, F-18s, and my squadron was going to transition to the F-18. I said, there's no chance. As I'm saying those words, my XO is calling my house, and my mother answers the phone. She comes out, she says, "Barry, your XO wants to talk to you." And my call sign was Butch by this point. So Butch, he said, I need you to come back. I can't tell you why. I just need you to come back now. So I got my truck and I started driving back from Tennessee back to Cecil Field in Florida. And when I got there, I found out that I was getting pulled from that squadron and sent to VA 72, who was deploying no notice on the USS Kennedy, heading over to support what was taking place in Kuwait. So I did some quick field carrier landing practice, FCLP, got ready and headed out, and went with that guys I didn't know, and at sea again. So basically, as it turns out, I spent almost 2 solid years at sea with a couple of little breaks, because I went over, did all of Operation Desert Storm, which was the Desert Shield, which was the build up to Operation Desert Storm, and was through that. Went through night. I was the day one player. The actual conflict started at night. We had guys that went in for the first night wave. I was on the first day wave, and throughout the whole process, completed a total of 22 combat missions and various stories that I could tell about those things. And that was a combat deployment. We didn't know at the time we were leaving, but we knew there was a possibility. I think there were 6 aircraft carriers in the region. I think 4 were operating in the Persian Gulf. It was at least 3, but I think it was 4. And there were 2 operating in the Red Sea. And we were one of the Red Sea carriers, us and the Saratoga. So all of our missions, they would do, we do cyclic ops off the carrier, where you launch, you do 1 cycle, hour and a half-ish. They launch another wave, and then that wave lands, and they were doing cyclic ops. Well, we couldn't do cyclic ops from the Red Sea because it was too far. Our missions were 4.5 to 5.5 hours each. So we'd launch, we'd hit Air Force tankers over Saudi Arabia during Desert Storm. We'd go in country, do our business, come back out, hit them again, and just amazingly wonderful. I hit those tankers coming out, and then if it was a day mission, me and my wingman, we'd go down into the weeds, and we'd fly 400-mile low level through Saudi Arabia back to the ship in the Red Sea. It was awesome. It was awesome. Just impromptu. There's a mountain. Let's fly towards that mountain. It looks like a gully. Let's go down that gully. Just heading towards the ship. Because in A7, having enough fuel in an airplane that has only one place to land on an aircraft carrier, and making sure you have to preserve your fuel. The great thing about the A7, it was an attack bomber. It was a single engine. We don't have many single engine airplanes successful on an aircraft carrier, but the A7 did well, and it did burn a lot of gas. So you could do a low level for an hour and still have plenty of gasoline on the ship. I love that airplane. Information wasn't as readily available. I wrote a letter after my first mission. It took 18 days before it got to my mom and dad. So they didn't know anything about me personally. So we didn't get a lot of information. The intel guys try to keep us appeased as much as possible. Like, I remember flying down the border and seeing thousands of vehicles and looked like 100,000 troops, and just this wave of sand because these vehicles that were driving up the border, and looking down and going, what in the world are they doing? Well, I don't know if you remember the big loop around that Schwarzkopf and them came, and instead of coming from the sea, they came from the west. I sat there and watched it all. I didn't know what was taking place, but every time I fly over today, I'm like, what in the world are they doing? So when the ground war started, they came from the opposite direction the Iraqis were expecting, and we saw it all happening from above. But we didn't have the need to know, so intel never told us what was going on. We just see it and go, what's going on down there? What are they doing? They're playing in the sand? What are they doing? Anyway, when they lit off all the oil wells, wow. That all of a sudden there's black fires or black smoke coming from these fires everywhere. I mean, I don't, you know, I guess we all, if you believe in heaven and hell, but if there's a hell, everybody's got their vision what that looks like. My vision, part of it, is what I saw, and that just unbelievable black everywhere. I mean, how many oils did it light off? I don't know. It was a bunch. It's amazing to see from the air. Absolutely amazing. And I don't know if you remember they called it the Road of Death. The northern road into Iraq, or into Kuwait from Iraq, and it was just, just amazing. Just amazing. I wasn't down doing pops and dropping bombs on the road, but we're doing stuff all over the place there. So, you know, I had some night missions where you're going to a kill box. It could have been on that road. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, so, but yeah, I saw the after effects, sure.